The majority of us have been under stress for a long time now, and enduring stress actually does different things to different people. It's not good for us if we don't have the coping skills necessary to take care of it. What happens in the brain is interesting. For example, if you heard on the phone that a good friend of yours had been in a car accident or suddenly got really sick, you would automatically start having reactions. Like you would feel dizzy, faint, your heart rate would go faster, you would start sweating, you would get anxious. Those are all normal. And we expect our body to do that. It's preparing our body for what we need to do next. But when you start having those emotions, which many of my clients are now having, because of emotional triggers that should not startle it to that extent, then that's when it does the damage to your body. So I thought it may be helpful to go through 9 of those triggers I know about that I see every day, so that if you're aware of them, it may make them less scary. And then I'm going to do some stress hacks, things just to keep your mind, like go through a checklist in your mind. Okay, have I done that? Have I done that? That can help you calm down fast. Okay. So the first one, when you feel self-conscious. Now, when you feel self-conscious, it's normal to get a little clammy. Some people have a lot of trouble with that. But let's face it, if you live in a world of social media and you're always feeling self-conscious, then you're going to be totally stressed out and you're going to be unhealthy. That's a trigger. So it's important you go into your stress hacks then. Being discounted. Being discounted happens. It's not something we like, but we shouldn't react with sweating, panic, anxiety. Our heart rate is beating out of our chest. Those are triggers. It's just a trigger that you have to learn to decompress with stress relief. Feeling we are uncontrolled. If you start feeling like you're losing your mind and you start getting dizzy and all these panicked and all these other feelings ensue, another sign it's just an emotional trigger, and tell yourself that will help you calm down right away. Feeling taken advantage of. Nobody likes to feel taken advantage of, but let's face it, it happens with or without COVID, with or without the elections and everything else. So you need to de-stress when you feel that trigger. Feeling vulnerable, that's another one. Many of us do whatever we can. We carry mace with us, or we feel like if we're out walking, we have something that we can hit with. Whatever it is that makes you feel better on the prep side, don't allow it to become an emotional trigger where you go into this rapid heart rate and sweaty palms and anxiety and panic, because then most people are not at their best with thinking to overcome it. Relationship experiences from the past, any kind of trauma or something like that. If you're getting a red flag of that in your current relationship, it can be symbolic that something is going on. It can be a red flag, but it shouldn't rule your life the way hearing truly upsetting news about someone you love getting in an accident would, for example. Boundary concerns. Once again, it's an emotional trigger, but it shouldn't put you out of commission. Feeling uncomfortable about what is happening. Lots of people people are very sensitive and they're feeling uncomfortable in situations, but you can never allow those feelings to take over your life. So you're not able to cope or get out of bed because you're feeling that way, or fearing what might happen. Many people, when they're overly anxious, when they've been overly anxious a long time, they have this doomsday feeling, like they just feel there's a black cloud over everything. And that's been heightened with the media, with social media, with what's going on with the elections and the pandemic. It's very important you recognize that. Oh yeah, that's that trigger Mary Jo told me about. I'm not going to allow it to create a whole reaction in me. I'm going to control it first. So let's go into just the normal everyday things you can do to reduce stress. And you should journal these or have them somewhere so you can go into your checklist. These are hacks. Rest. Even if you're not sleeping at night, when I say rest, I mean sit in a chair, put your feet up, and close your eyes. That is rest. That is enough. Don't start panicking if you haven't gotten sleep. Rest, and take periodic rest. Every hour you should have at least 5 minutes of rest. If you're one of these people that's feeling these emotional triggers. Nutrition, it's very important you eat any kind of omegas. when you eat avocado, or if you aren't a vegan or something, if you eat salmon or halibut or something like that, or nuts. Nuts are full of things that like omegas and magnesium that are going to help reduce stress. They're going to help calm you. I'm not saying eat a whole bowl, but just make sure those things are in your diet. When we focus on what we can do to take care of ourselves, we realize we are capable, and feeling capable helps you calm your stress, because once again, stress is exacerbated when people feel out of control. Medication, if you need it, but the only way you would know if you need it is if you go to your doctor. And if your doctor is noticing signs of any kind of stress that are actually damaging your body, then they can make that call. But you should not try to take alcohol or drugs in lieu of helping you calm down. Meditation, you should do. Meditation is as simple as closing your eyes, breathing in slow to the count of 5, breathing out slower to the count of 7. Slow everything down for 2 minutes. 2 minutes is all it takes. When we say meditation and people come on with, I do a meditation tape for 20 minutes a day. Personally, I don't have time for that, but I do have time for 2 minutes, and so should you. Exercise. We know movement, not exercise, movement helps. And no matter who you are, achy joints and all, it's important you get up, you put your tennis shoes on, and you go outside, whether that's a walk in the backyard or a walk around the block or wherever it is. You need the outside. Inside does not have the same effect. When you get outside, nature in and of itself, even in the middle of a city, can help calm you, because once again, it reconnects you with your essence. And that reconnection, that opportunity to have vast space, really helps our mind calm down. And lastly, I think positivity is so important. Try every morning to find 3 things that are going well for you. These may be 3 things you're grateful for. They oftentimes correlate. 3 things that you consider going well. Let's say you got a new pair of running shoes. That would be 1, okay? Because now what I would tell myself, I got a new pair of running shoes. These are going to be part of my coping mechanism, and I am so proud of myself that this is what I spent my money on. I mean, I think little things like that, when we focus on positive things, we do incredible things to our brain chemistry and our thinking, and it helps us calm down, and it helps us take control of ourselves. I think it's really, really important, lastly and overall, that you have at least one person you can connect with. If you don't have that person right now, then you need a pet. And the reason is because you need to connect and feel like you can help another person. Some people get so scared, they are so out of control with their emotional triggers that they can't get out of bed in the morning. When you can connect with one thing outside of yourself that needs you, you have a chance for actually taking control of this kind of stress. This is going to be a real test. The COVID has really tested our ability to cope well. But coping well is the key to building resilience. It's also the key to maintaining our emotional health. If you only do one of these things, if you focus on your eating, what you're eating, I will be so proud of you. And when you can take my words and hear those in your mind and start repeating that to yourself, you're going to get better. It's as simple as that, or as difficult as that. But do it, start it today, because we'll probably be in this for a while, but we'll all make it if we stay as calm as what we can.